Wood splitting nice today. Nice and cold. Can't waste any time today. Gotta get some heat going here. Minus 40 this morning. It's only warmed up to minus 36 right now. So we're still pretty cold. So that's where we're at. Inside and outside. We're slowly heating up on the interior of the cabin. So we're still pretty cold in the cabin right now. I think we're minus 24 and a half. Outside's minus 31. It's warmed up since this morning. When I got here it was minus 36. So even in the past hour and a half it's warmed up a few degrees anyway. Yeah, it was minus 40 this morning. It was cold. It's supposed to get colder tonight, so I think with the wind chill, we're supposed to be down to minus 52. What the forecast is saying. So we'll have to see if we get there. It's taking a little bit to get the cabin heated up, which is understandable because it's pretty cold soaked right now from the extreme cold that hit here. Well, it started yesterday. Got down to minus 30 during the day, and then overnight she plummeted down to minus 40. So expecting that more of that again tonight, and over the next I think next week or so it's supposed to be not as cold, but you know, high minus 20s, low minus 30s during the night. So cold, but then it's supposed to pop back up to minus single digits here by the end of the month. So I'm not sure if that's all winter's got in store for us, but it's pretty cold now, so we'll take it. Heating up the cabin, and it's gonna be a great night. I'm not gonna set the cabin up. Bring all my gear in until we're a little closer to zero. I do have the Blue Eddy here, and we'll be bringing that in and utilizing it for lights, and Brought my TV for some movies, which should be good. -40, huddled down in the cabin watching some movies. Looking forward to it. And I also got a nice meal plan, nice hot meal plan for tonight as well. I probably won't be eating it outside. I'll be eating it at my table here. It's going to be cold again, so we'll have to save the eating out by the campfire for a little bit warmer temperatures. In the meantime, I'm just going to focus on getting some heat in the cabin. I got the fire going outside also for another heat source. And we'll just carry on getting ready for the evening. Okay, we're packed into the cabin now. It's taking a while for the cabin to heat up. It says -6.7 in here. Well, this one says -6.7. This one here says -3. So, bit of a deviance between these two. Or deviation. I'm not sure if it's just taking this one longer to catch up to what this one says or not, but outside right now it's -34. So I mean there's a pretty big spread between outside and inside here. So we're just about 30 degrees difference. Just about 30 degrees colder outside than inside. So we'll just keep plugging away here, feeding the wood here some wood, and we'll get that heat up to above freezing anyway. We're gonna get supper going here pretty quick too. I'm gonna have chicken tonight, kind of a chicken stew. I haven't had that for a while, so figured that'd be a good meal to have on a day like today. By the looks of it, sun's fading fast, so we'll get on top of that. We'll be eating dinner inside anyway, so I don't have to worry about light for the outside. But I have to head outside and stoke up the fire at the fire pit. There's a good bed of coals going now, so just got to keep it going, and then we can start cooking supper. All right, had to thaw out my oil. It's pretty frozen. See the other one up here? It's still completely frozen. Throw it in some hot water and put it on the stove and it'll be good. Alright, so I oiled that up. Got some chicken here. I kind of preheated the Dutch oven here by putting it on the stove as well. Right now we'll just throw these drumsticks in there. Pepper, salt, and we'll put that out over the fire and let that brown up a bit, and then we'll come and prep vegetables. Alright, looks like she's done, just got to thicken her up a little bit. Let's see. That smells good. Ladle. Chicken's done nicely. Let's run this back out on the fire for a couple minutes to thicken it up, then it'll be done. Oh yeah, look at that. Man, does that ever look good. A little bit of pepper. A little bit of salt. Yeah, done. Oh man, that's so good. Nice hot meal on a cold day. Can't beat it. So the interior of the cabin's getting up in temperature. I think we're at +10 right now. Taking a little longer than what I'd like, but we're gonna get there. Outside temperature right now is -37, so we got a few more degrees before we hit -40, which the forecast has said it's gonna hit -40 or -42 ambient, and then with the wind chill we're supposed to get down to -52. That's Celsius, that is. So pretty cold. We'll see how the little cabin holds up, keeping the wood fire stove stoked, full of wood, and we'll see how we get through the night. I got my my two-layer sleeping bag. It's good for -40. Inside the cabinet should be all right. I don't anticipate any problems tonight, to be perfectly honest with you. I think it's going to be a good night. I got a pot of warm water on the stove, keeping a little bit of humidity in the air, and it's warming up nicely in here. So it's been a few days since I evacuated the cabin. That night was a very cold night. Down to -42, -52 with the wind chill. The reason I had to evacuate the cabin, that wood stove just couldn't keep up. I tried stoking the flames there a few times, and it wasn't catching. So while it was slowly going out, I had the door open, and I was trying to feed it wood, and that wood was burning very slow. So I had the door just kind of open a bit so it could at least get some air. And when I looked inside, it looked like the front part of the wood stove was burning, was on fire, but the very back was all the coals were black, and they were not on fire. So I think essentially what was happening was because I had the door open, it was getting some air at the front, but the back wasn't getting any air at all. And I took a look at the ducting, the way that the design of that wood stove, and it looks like the air intake comes from the bottom of the stove and up through the back, through tubing, and then the tubing goes to the front, and that's where the air comes in. And I think the idea was to get fresh air in from the bottom around the back, preheated, and then by the time it hits the front, it'll be preheated and go into the firebox and then out the chimney, right? But I also looked, and just below the chimney there's kind of a baffle, I guess. So to me that seemed like it'd be a bit restrictive. No, my stovepipe is just a bare stovepipe. It's not insulated at all. So outside would be very cold. Inside I could touch the stovepipe. It was warm to the touch, so it should be screaming hot. I should not be able to touch that. So outside, when it was -40, imagine that cold air just whoop, soaked right into it, and any fluid gas going out just slowed right down or even came to a stop. It was so cold. So that convoluted design of the air going through the piping to the front, and then with that baffle over blocking the chimney, I think it just restricted the path of airflow, and the wood stove just couldn't keep up. Now the way my chimney system is I've got two 90-degree elbows. One coming up 90 degree out, and then another outside 90 degree up. And I think with all those restrictions, all those curves and turns, it just choked out the stove. Now I've been out here before when it's minus 40 when I had the airtight, but it wasn't, it didn't have all the ducting and stuff like the new stove does. So I could just open the intake or the air intake at the front of the wood stove and it would take off like a rocket. All that heat was enough heat to keep that chimney pipe nice and warm and hot, so the draft didn't stall out. So more or less what this stove was acting like was the chimney, the flue gas would stop in the chimney and it'd damp the stove down so it couldn't breathe. So I just don't think that that wood stove's a good design for this little cabin, this type of space, heating space. Now I suspect if I had an insulated chimney that went straight out the roof, it would probably work a lot better. But having said that, even cooling temperatures, it wasn't a rock star for heating up. It took a while to heat up. And I get that it's a cast iron style wood heater, but even at that it should heat up quicker than what it has been. So having said that, I've been keeping my eye out for an old-fashioned, old-school type wood heater. And I think I found an antique parlor stove that might fit the bill. And on top of that, I'm going to be plumbing in the diesel heater today. I picked up a marine outlet exhaust port that I'm going to put into the wall so I can just hook that the exhaust from the diesel heater up to it, and then I can run the diesel heater inside. Because even at those temperatures, I don't know if that diesel heater would be running very well with it outside and then pumping heat in. So I'm not sure what happened to the fuel in the fuel tank, if it would start gelling or what. So we'll have to investigate that chimney. I'm going to take that chimney apart today and see what kind of buildup it has on the walls of it. There's a lot of creosote and stuff like that, and then do a good clean out of the pipes, the chimney pipes, and we'll start fresh. I'm not sure we're going to get this cold weather event again this winter, but you never know. February might be bringing more of the same. It has a way of doing that here in northern Alberta, but we've had a weird year with El Nino, so. And I think that cold weather event was in part because El Nino, from what I understand. But we got light snow coming down right now. We don't have a lot of snow yet still. We're only got a couple inches. Might get a dump here in the next month or so, but spring is coming up close. Only got 2 more months of winter, and then we'll be officially spring. So I'll get that outside fire pit going. Get some heat, a source of heat. We're at minus 19 right now, so it's a lot warmer than it was, but it's still cold out. We'll get that fire pit going, and then we'll start working on that chimney. So it looks to be quite a bit of soot there. Not plugged off, but I mean it's on there pretty good. So inside the pipe looks about the same as that. So what we'll do is we'll just, once the fire gets going here, we'll light her up, clean out the pipes. There we go. Giving the pipes a good cleaning. Essentially what a chimney fire is. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that fire pit to warm up, get a nice bed of coal so I can clean that last chimney pipe. I'm gonna cook myself up some lunch, so I'm getting pretty hungry. It's past noon now, so it's that time of day. Pretty simple lunch for today. Campbell's Chunky Spicy Chicken Sausage Gumbo from a can. Quick and easy. Oh, that is so good. Canned soup. The perfect amount of spice. Oh yeah, hold that on my hand. Even though it's only minus 19, it's still pretty cold out. We got a bit of a breeze. That makes it even colder. But yeah, I was pretty bummed about having to evacuate there the other night. Look forward to these cold seasons all year, and then it finally came, and I had to cut the night short due to my heating source failing. So I've got to come up to remedy that. I think I've got a pretty good idea. Like I said, I mentioned I've got an eye on an old antique parlor stove that I might be able to get a hold of and try it out. It's got no baffling or no air ducts or none of that, so should help out. I did take a look at the stove piping, and there is a bit of build-up on it. Mostly on the outside. The inside piping was pretty good, but I think because of all that cold temperature, any moisture in the flue gas just kind of clung to the sides of the pipes, and that's what stopped it. Was that cold air, just stopping the draft. So I'll end up cleaning those stove pipes and get ready for next time. I'm not sure about if I'll have that antique parlor stove yet. We'll have to see. I think I have to get a fitting for it anyway for the exhaust because it's got a 6-inch oval. So I'll need an oval to circular conversion. But I would like to kind of measure up and size up for that marine exhaust port I'm going to put into the cabin so I can run that diesel heater as a secondary source of heat. I'm gonna like to start playing around with that with both sources of heat at the same time. That way I can just let the fire die down in the wood heater, and the diesel heater will just take over throughout the night, so I don't have to get up. But after we get the stove chimney back together, I'll kind of size up. I brought the diesel heater with me so I can get a good idea of how I can situate it, and we'll go from there. I'll see where I can mount that marine exhaust port. I was going to mount it today, but I realized that I forgot the tool I needed to drill out the wood, so that'll be for next trip out. I'll bring the whole setup out, diesel heater, the battery, and then we'll hook it up that way, and we'll do a run. We'll run both the wood heat and the diesel heater, and see how the diesel heater reacts to the temperature fluctuation in the cabin. One thing's for sure, I don't think I'll be coming out here without a second source of heat in those extreme cold nights like that. Hopefully I'll have the fire heater issue resolved, but I'm not really all that impressed with that new wood heater that I picked up there last year. And come to think of it, I don't think we hit minus 40 last year. I think the coldest it got down to while I was out here was minus 30. If I look back on my footage on the old episodes, minus 30 was the coldest it got. So even then it was kind of struggling. I figured it might be an installation issue with the cabin, but if your heat source isn't putting out any heat, no amount of insulation is going to help you out anyway. So good. Alright, let's give this chimney a burn here. Okay, so what we got here, this is what the marine exhaust port looks like here. What it is it'll stick through, I'll drill a hole through the wall, and that part there will be in the wall. See the bigger diameter piece here will stick through the wall, and then it'll be butted up like that. This rubber here will be against the wall like so, and then this will be sticking into the cabin, and that's where the exhaust tube's gonna hook up to from the diesel heater, and this will be the outside, and it'll be exhausting outside. So yeah, just as easy as that. It'll be a permanent fixture too, right? So every time I bring the diesel heater in the cabinet, it's just as easy as hooking her up to that and letting her rip. Now we'll go inside and see where to place the diesel heater. I've got an idea where I'm going to put it, and I actually ordered a longer exhaust hose because I want it more center of the building, facing with the air duct facing into the cabin, to the middle of the cabin. So we'll go and take a look. I got the diesel heater situated in there right now, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So this is how I'm going to have the diesel heater situated. Now, like I mentioned, I have longer exhaust hose coming. So the diesel heater itself will probably be out right here where my hip is about. But I'll be exiting underneath the counter here, out that side of the wall there. I'll put that marine exhaust port there, and it'll be as easy as coming in, putting the diesel exhaust or diesel heater here or here, and then run the exhaust out that way. And of course I'll have my battery hookup, and the ducting will be out the front here, out into the middle. So yeah, we'll be trying that out next time for sure. I'll be having the wood heater going, and this at the same time. I'll have this set for a specific temperature, test it out. And I'll let the wood heater die down, see if this kicks in to supplement the heat, to keep it warm in here. And then we'll just run off of it and see if it does maintain heat in the cabin. Be a nice little test for it. So right here is probably a better idea of where it's going to sit. I'll be able to have my battery beside it, and the exhaust will run out that way. And then of course we'll have a direct shot of heat right into the center of the cabin. Hoping it's gonna work out real good. Well, this is a bit of a different episode. Can't say I've done this before. Almost seems like a two-parter. There should be two separate episodes, but I've got to include this day trip in with the night trip because, well, I evacuated on the night. So in order to complete the episode from the night, I had to come and kind of give them an explanation of why I evacuated. And that night episode was incomplete, so complete it off, come back, give an explanation, and how to rectify the problem. What I think the problem is, what I'm going to do about it. Gave the chimney a good cleaning, got it back together. I'm also going to come and clean out the firebox itself. Give it a good clean, and I got to think about what I'm doing with that stove. I got to take a look at it further. I'd really like to uncork that chimney so it's not blocked like that. Open it up, because I think that was part of the problem. It was just wasn't getting hot because it wasn't evacuating the flue gas fast enough. It was like the damper was full on, and it just couldn't breathe. It was choking itself out. If it's choking itself out, it's not going to burn. It's not going to burn. It's not going to produce heat. And that's pretty dangerous in those temperatures. Minus 42 ambient is no joke. I don't know how many people watching have experienced minus 40 or 40 below, but it is a serious situation if you get caught out in that weather. You don't last long. Throw on the wind chill down to minus 52, it's even worse. Anyway, lots of good learning this past overnight with the wood burning stove that I have, and now the diesel heater is involved too, so I'm gonna have that second source of heat in when it's really cold like that at all times. It keeps the situation safer. You know, it may look a certain way on the computer, like it's easy stuff or whatever, but it's serious business out here when it's that cold. Now, with all that said, I'd like to thank you for joining me if you made it this far. I'd like to thank all those who have pitched in and donated for super thanks. All the donations to the channel, I thank you very much. It sure helps out when, especially situations like this where I have to buy fittings and stuff like that. So again, if you made it with me this far, I thank you, and we'll talk to you later.